Divine Retribution has multiple layers, so the first step is to cut those out of foam and layer them up. To keep a clean edge on the shield, a very sharp knife is needed to cut the foam in one smooth pass. With the primary layers cut, I lay them out, just to get a sense of the shield coming together. Denkomaru Isun's sword is a little more wakizashi than katana, with a shorter 24-inch blade. Cut from high-density foam, the sword will also be supported by a fiberglass core. With a very fine stone that I ground to the shape and angle that I needed, I begin to carve the pattern into the shield. It was very challenging to get the tight, smooth, organic curves necessary. For the decorative domes on the shield, I found a piece of tubing the correct size and used it to cut out a number of discs that I will smooth and shape on my sander later. I use contact cement to fuse the foam together. It is applied to both surfaces, allowed to cure, and finally, it will be pressed together to create an instant and permanent bond. With concentric circles, careful placement is crucial as the glue bonds instantly, and there is very little, if any, repositioning that can be done once placed. There are not many detailed references from Okami that are not fan art interpretations, so I looked up the kanji for Divine Retribution or God's Revenge and etched them into the shield using a series of very fine diamond bits of varying shapes. After attaching the rope strapping and a backplate to the shield, I blend the seams to turn it into a single, solid piece. In order to get a smooth, even bevel on the sword, I use an orbital sander to cut them in prior to assembling the handle. For the Tsuba, or crossguard, I use a foam that is significantly more dense than my typical supply, as you can see. With all the carving done on Divine Retribution, it's time to seal the shield. I use Plastidip to get a flexible, durable, smooth finish. As Issun is so small in the game, I decided to make the hilt wrap on Dekoromu look like a blade of grass. Using a strip of 1/16 inch foam, I cut lines along its length and cut a channel down the center. With everything carved and sealed, it's finally time to paint. To paint Divine Retribution, I wanted to simulate polished jade, so a base coat of dark green was applied with a sponge over the entire surface. Technically speaking, what I am simulating is false jade, or nephrite, rather than jadeite, the pale green milky stone, but the game depicts it as a darker green, and I find it more attractive. To get the organic texture of stone, I brush a coat of paint on, apply a thin plastic sheet that I wrinkle, and then pull off. After it dries, I clear coat, let it dry, and repeat the whole process with different shades of green, gold, pearl white, and black paints. In total, there are well over a dozen layers of paint and sealant on the shield. Denkomaru has a large paintbrush on the handle, so I made a foam form and glue wig extensions over it. This was my first time working with a wig, and getting the hair to lay properly on the form turned into a much bigger challenge than I had ever anticipated. Carved jade has the unique characteristic that the etchings are a brighter, more matte green than the surrounding polished stone. So I dry brush some pale green into the etch patterns in kanji to complete Divine Retribution. When painting metallics, the base color plays an important role in the color tone of the finished piece. For silver, I like using blue base, and for golds, I use either a red or brown base depending on how warm and bright or aged I want the metal to appear. After painting and weathering both Divine Retribution and Denkomaru, I put a final coat of sealant on and let them dry. These have become some of my favorite pieces that I have made, and I learned many new skills from them. I cannot wait to show you Amaterasu's Divine Retribution and Denkomu Isun's Paintbrush Sword.